Let's talk Andre Onana. And before you come at me, with my hate train for Andre Onana, this is a generalisation of what is about to happen for Manchester United in the summer. Well, according to reports anyway, this is more of a look of Manchester United's approach to the transfer window and the current squad. As in, we're not letting the players get away with what they have got away with before. He's had a good few games. Oh yeah, maybe we should keep him a bit longer. Is this not the problem that Manchester United have had for years? In this live show, I want your live comments in the comments section. After it's finished, I also want your comments in the comments section below as well. Please back that up with subscribing to get involved in the live show, and obviously give the video a like as well. I'm talking everything around the rumours of outgoings. We've got updates on Andre Onana, Alejandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo from reports and varying reports today. You can see a report going across the bottom of your screen there for Nico Williams. I feel like it's there just for the sake of it, to be honest. I don't see United ever getting anywhere near Nico Williams. I'm going to be honest, I think he's an out-and-out winger, and I don't think he suits United's system. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you see where I'm going with it, don't you? More importantly, Manchester United, how they cope with this transfer window. And I say cope because we're up against what we dealt with yesterday, which was kind of going from under our noses to Chelsea, because they've got more time, more money, and are in a better position and more to offer that player, i.e. the system, the competitions they're in, and more money. Well, quite simply, something that Manchester United don't have any of. That is playing in certain competitions, the money, and obviously the right position for that player. It has to be perfect. It has to be absolutely on the money in the incoming side of things, and that only happens if the right players are moved on. Andre Onana, to kick things off, in the start, there is a rumour going around, again, it's not a rumour, it's actually a report going around about Andre Onana again, and the bosses at Manchester United not being impressed with Andre Onana. No one's impressed with Andre Onana. You can talk about him improving in certain aspects of his game this season at certain times. He'll have a spell and then he'll have the drop-off. And we know what the drop-off is. It's costing Manchester United games. That's Andre Onana's drop-off. As it would be with every keeper, to be fair, because they're the last line of defence, and when they F up, the whole team suffers for it, because it usually ends up in being a goal, as we've seen many a times this season. This report about Manchester United looking at several goalkeepers, even Oblak for Manchester United. Cannot see that happening either, for reasons I just said, for Nico Williams as well, coming into Manchester United. And no, is what I say to that one. Maybe we will come up against Nico Williams when we face Bilbao, hopefully, if we get through and Rangers get beat by Bilbao, which they will, because Bilbao have a very good side, and they're the one team that I fear the most in the rest of this competition, to be honest, that being the Europa League. But still, that's for another time, we'll judge him then. But Manchester United with Andre Onana, and the point I wanted to make with this is, and come at me if you want, correct me if you feel like I'm being a bit over the top, I see this as the issue going back years now for Manchester United. He's done alright. He's had a few good games. Look at what he bleeding won. Jack shit. It's not good enough because it's not consistent enough. And this is the difference, and this is the fall off and the acceptance that we've now had to fall in line with for where we're at right now, which is a mid-table to bottom half of the table side. Why? Because we've kept the players, because we felt like they've done okay. Okay doesn't cut it. 3 games of half-decent performances from Andre Onana, for instance. Sorry, it's fallen on him, but that was the headline that I've gone with, and he's a prime example of why we might actually think that we're okay and we don't need to replace him. We do, we have to, and it is going to cost us if we don't. It's plain and simple. It is. The nervousness around that backline. Look, Andre Onana is what he is. He was like this before. He's like this at United. Why we brought him in, we were going to play some crazy system under Ten Hag where it was going to be a sweeper keeper and we're going to pass out from the back. It's not worked. He's had 2 years. Is he convincing anybody? Is there better out there? Yes, there is. If there's a better player out there than the one we've got in the position right now, we need to find him. And we need to get someone else in. And this is the acceptance that we've had within this club. And it's come from the hierarchy. It's come from the people that Sir Jim Ratcliffe was slagging off in the structure and the management team that was in place for the last 10 years at this football club. And they're the ones that have made us feel the way that we are. Maybe we are convincing ourselves that some of these players are better than what they are. I've done it. I did it this season. I was convinced we could get 4th. You all laughed at me when I did it. But look, I gave them a chance and they blew it. And I have seen through what they are right now. I haven't got time for it. I don't want to invest my whole time in believing in a team that just can't cut it. As much as I like the effort and them giving everything they've got, I want to see United win for the money that we're paying. And these decisions now are needing to be ruthless. They're needing to be brutal, cutthroat. See you later. Sorry, thank you. You got a bit better. We're still letting go. It's still not good enough. And a game here and there and an assist here and there. And it rolls into nearly every single player that we know is on the cusp of possibly leaving Manchester United this summer. And you cannot say I'm wrong on that one. We know that we're clinging on for hope with some of these players. We're clinging on with nearly every single player that's been here a minimum the last 3 years. We know we are. Look at Rasmus Højlund. He can come good. He's not getting the service. Maybe if he gets a few more games consistently and he plays with a permanent partner, if and buts, and no, go. That's literally where we're at right now. It has to be. And it is going to upset a lot of football fans, going to upset a lot of Man United fans. But look at every other successful club. Look what they have done. They have been ruthless. They have gone right down the line and they have made them tough calls that we have not been prepared to do. We haven't, and nobody could say we have. Look how long Martial stayed. Look how long we've still got the likes of Victor Lindelof at this football club. I mean, seriously, come on. Like, what the hell? How is that man still here? And I said it the other day, credit to him against Arsenal. I said it. You can't hold that against me and say that you have just had a vendetta against him. I have, because I don't think he's good enough for reasons like I just said. Like, I'm not accepting the standards. I don't think he was good enough. I don't think he is good enough. When he has a good game once in a blue moon, I'll give him the props and I'll give him the praise. But that's the issue. One good game does not warrant staying for 8 bastard years at the football club in our worst ever period in the club's history. Like, come on. Like, you know it is that way. You know, for the money we're paying for these players and the football that we're watching and the trophies that we're winning, how successful we are and how inconsistent we are, it is the worst era ever. When you put it all together as one, it is. We know it is as fans. This is where United have to be absolutely ruthless. I've said it before. That's an example right there of a player that's earned an absolute fortune out of this club and not giving us enough. Luke Shaw is exactly the same. These players that are just staying and clinging on at Manchester United, it's not good enough. Harry Maguire would have been sold by now if Ineos were in 6 years ago. And I'm not saying Ineos like I want to big them up, so don't go down that road, please, for God's sake. What I am saying with that is, if this new structure was in and we had people that actually knew what they were doing, people who were qualified to work in these positions in Manchester United's hierarchy and management, then we would have been selling the likes of Lindelof, selling Maguire, getting rid of Martial sooner, dealing with Rashford before it got to this point. We would have been dealing with all of this. We wouldn't have had Garnacho through or Kobbie Mainoo through into Manchester United's first team because we were desperate, because we had a manager in who couldn't handle what was happening at the football club, who had basically abandoned his whole philosophy and playing style because it wasn't working. He buckled to the players. Player FC wouldn't have been a thing if we had the right people running this football club. We know it wouldn't. So now we've got this in place, it's time to let go. We started and we've seen a glimpse of it last summer. We had players that were still there that shouldn't be there at Manchester United, and they went. We got rid of them. Finally out of the door. We've got the final few to now start getting rid of, and we can start looking forward to a real turning of the page and a new era. But it seems harsh to me that I've built up this on Andre Onana from the start, but he isn't a good enough goalkeeper. It's as simple as that. We know it is. We know he isn't. And he will cost us more than he actually gains for us. That's my opinion alone. I mean, obviously, I'll come to the chat in a moment on this one. Please do drop your comments in below as well on this, because I'm stern and I'm straight down the line with this. I'm not going to deter any which way. We need to sell players that are not working for Ruben Amorim. It's simple. We haven't got no money. The only way we generate money is by selling players. And if the players are not going to be his first choice pick, even if he brought players in, and what I mean by that is, if there was an option, every player was fit, everyone was ready to go in this squad, after we bought in, let's just say, on average, 4 players. We brought in 4 more players this summer. We haven't sold anybody yet. We've just got them players in. I'm only using this as an example. It's not how football works. But if everyone's fit, the people on the bench that don't make that first 11, for me, are the ones we need to be looking at. And they're the ones that I feel will end up being sold or should be sold. And I don't think that if you gave Ruben Amorim a chance, you say, look, you've got all of this squad, everyone's fit, everyone's available, and you've got 4 more players to bring in. What's your first 11 going to be? I think it'll surprise a lot of people. I don't think you see Kobbie Mainoo. I don't think you see Alejandro Garnacho. I think replacements are there for them two players. I don't think you see Andre Onana. 100% no, you don't. There's another keeper being brought in who can do a better role. He's already talked about the nervousness around the back with Andre Onana in defence. And we're looking at bringing in more centre-backs. We've got a very, very young defence now. You look at the wing-backs that we're possibly going to have. Even if we promote our own youth players coming through, you've still got very, very young wing-backs. You've got young centre-backs. We've got 2 teenagers now at the back. The elder statesman in that back line really next season should be Mazraoui. And what's he, 26, going on 27? That this is what United's future should be. That is a very, very young side. And you need a dominating, outspoken, commanding goalkeeper in that goal. And there are plenty of them out there better than Andre Onana. And my whole philosophy is with Manchester United, if you want to move forward, you have to look at the team. Since Andre Onana has been in, he has contributed, like everybody else, let's get that clear, to an 8th position finish in the league. And, yes, an even worse one this season. Look at them players in that squad. Do any of them players still warrant being in Manchester United's side next season, going into the summer? And that's the question and the tough calls that are going to have to be made by this new structure. It's not going to be easy at all, but there are going to be some real shocks in this. We need to get away from thinking that these players are just okay. They've done well. F off. No, we cannot have that anymore. If you're wanting to fund a £2 billion stadium, you cannot have, oh, he's all right. He's done well in a few games. Maybe we should just give him the benefit of the doubt. No. The recruitment is there right now, and proof of it is there in that I just said. The recruitment is, he looks all right, doesn't he? Like, yeah, he's done a good few games. Look at that. He's back. The Iceman tucks away a penalty against Brighton in the semi-final. Can always rely on the Iceman. Are you shitting me? No, you can't. I mean, come on. Where are them standards? Like, I've dropped mine to a certain level this season. I've had to accept it, yes. But I don't want to be stuck here where we are, season in, season out. You're talking about having the best stadium on the planet, and you want to play a team in it that's actually proved to you that they're not good enough to finish in the top half of the table, or just... Nah, not a chance in hell for me. And that's my approach on that. And when I seen the Onana news earlier on, and you can say it's come from different sources, but we know this is starting to speculate and bubble now around Andre Onana, and we know it's starting to gather legs, and it's going to be the same with other players. I've just picked Onana because it was a relevant one today, because I think he's done all right the last couple of games, and I'll say that right now down the camera. But I still, honestly, don't think he's good enough for this team. And I think there's actually better goalkeepers at the club already than what he is. And that's just me being completely brutally honest with it, because I'm fed up with watching these players fail all of the time. They don't worry about it. They're still getting paid. They're still walking around like the bleeding God's gift. They're still getting protection from the football club. But honestly, we're the ones that are suffering. We're the ones that are down in the dumps. We're the ones that are having to deal with prices being hiked up on us for tickets. We're the ones that are having to deal with the mess. And we should be standing up to this. We expect different levels. If you're going to be this brutal with us, you need to be this brutal with them players. And that's the hierarchy and the new structure that I'm talking about there. Look, I've gone on long enough there for the opening. I want to get your opinions on a lot of this right now. Just in general, it doesn't even have to be about Andre Onana, guys. It doesn't have to be all on him. You know what I'm saying, and you know why I'm using him as an example. Because he has been awful, and then he's had a couple of good games. And that's what's convincing a lot of these fans that these players are all right. He's done good. He's okay. Good, okay, getting better. We can see a future. They're words that we cannot use anymore. They're words that we cannot live by at Manchester United. And we're never going to move anywhere thinking that way. And that's the issue that we've got. That is the issue. Right, we've got tons of comments flying in here. I'm going to scroll around and drop it in. Silverback Beast just renewed his membership. Legend, mate. Onana needs to be gone. He's not up to the mark. It's not worked. We shot ourselves in the foot. We more than did. Because people were saying to me, and just on the Onana thing again, that summer, 2023, was a disaster for Manchester United in the transfer window. It really was a catastrophe. And by that I mean, we could have got Declan Rice, but we went out and bought Mount, and everyone says, well, Rice is worth more than Mount. Yes, he was. But we didn't need to sell. We didn't need to buy Andre Onana. We could have just stuck around and done a deal for another goalkeeper to replace David De Gea at the end of his contract. which was one more year. We could have kept him in for one more year. I wanted De Gea gone. I'm not going to even hide behind the fact I thought he was declining and we needed a fresh face. But I expected someone to come in and actually stop shots. For God's sake, like, what is the first job of a goalkeeper? You could have bought Declan Rice and still had David De Gea. I would rather have David De Gea in goal and Declan Rice in my midfield than Andre Onana and bleeding Mason Mount in it. I think we'd all agree with that, wouldn't we? Because them two together, the price of them two was exactly what Arsenal paid for Declan Rice. It was there, and we would have got Rice if we'd have made the effort to go out and get him. And then you spent, what? 75 million on Rasmus Højlund still. Could you have not done a deal and got a better striker? I think you could have. Were they better out there? 100% they were. And that's what we're talking about now. And now we're making excuses for Mount, Onana and Rasmus Højlund 2 years on. Disaster. Recruitment. That is everything. The whole structure of United, and what Sir Jim said in that interview that we talked about for the Times earlier on, was the recruitment and the management side of things. And he's dead right about that. There's a lot of stuff in that interview that we said earlier on that he's completely way out with, and we know what that is. But in terms of the running of this club, we had the wrong men in place, and look where we are right now. They need to be ruthless and deal with this mess. He said it himself, Sir Jim. We inherited this. We paid into this. So if you're going to take the flak, you're going to praise the Glazers. If you're going to defend the Glazers and tell them that they're really outstanding guys, then you need to start taking these big decisions on board and making them count for us going forward, because that's what the fans are going to judge you off. Not hanging around and saving pennies by keeping players that have clearly shown that they're not good enough. Look, he's just called half of the players out, Sir Jim, in an interview. There's no way that he can keep him in the summer. Not a chance. Get to it. Busy summer ahead. Let's get into some of the comments. We should have got Zion Suzuki for 5 million instead. We got Andre Onana. Suzuki now worth 45 million. But that is what you get when you've got clowns like Murto and Arnold in place. Ooh, let's go. More comments. Matt says, priority has to be wing-backs in the summer. An experienced striker is also needed, and a new keeper. Those are what I want to see within the summer. I kind of agree with that. No, not kind of agree. I do agree with that, actually, mate. I do think keeper, striker, wing-backs. Well, keeper, striker, one wing-back, because I think Dargu will suffice for now. I honestly believe that Manchester United have talent in our academy that can cover the wing-backs that we've got right now in this Manchester United first team squad. And I'm counting a new one coming in on the right in that as well. I do believe that both Mantato and Kamasin can come up and cover for another player coming in. Dalot, I don't know where he fits in. If United go out and buy a right wing-back, Dalot doesn't start. And that's another call that you're going to have to make. Is Dalot great as a cover? As a cover in the team and someone who's going to step in? Yeah, he is. It's fantastic. Have we got room for that right now when we could be spending Dalot's money and what we could get for him on someone who can come into the first 11? No, we haven't got that time. And this is the situation with Quenda. Quenda is a Hollywood version of the situation United have got with Dalot. Right now, you put both of them players together, it's the same situation. Chelsea are able to leave Quenda out of their side for a year because they don't need him. Manchester United can leave Dalot out of their side when we bring someone in this summer. But we can't afford to have Dalot waiting around. That's the difference with us. We cannot have that. We need to utilise what we've got now and build from here. And the sacrifice is players that have been here for a while, that have contributed to the last few years. And the success stories within them are great. They are. But are they enough for where Ineos and what they want for Manchester United? No. Are they enough for the fans? No. I'll be honest, we'll get over losing someone like Dalot very, very quickly. We won't think too much when he's gone a few games into the season. I can guarantee it. No one's going to lose sleep over Dalot leaving his football club. I love the guy. I think he's a model professional. I think he's a top player at times. But he is one of the most inconsistent players I've ever seen at a football club. Honestly, like this season, he's been woeful. The odd game here and there has given me hope, but I cannot keep clinging on to little bits of hope in odd games here and there. That's the point I was making at the top of this show. You cannot have that anymore. It has to be consistent. Andy James says, come on, Adam, it's okay saying sell this, sell that other player, but if they are on high wages and long contracts and they dig their heels in, there is no way the club can sell. Get real. I am real. I did a video on it as well, Andy. You should probably go and watch it, actually, about how much Manchester United need to sell these players for on the contracts that they're on and what we spent on them 2 seasons ago and more. And it's all there and doable. I'm not saying that Manchester United are going to sell Onana. I didn't say that at the top of the show. I think we should. I just don't think it's a number one. I think a replacement needs to come in. I said the club had lost faith in Andre Onana, and I think that is true. And I said in that statement that we are actually now in a position where we've got better goalkeepers than our number one goalkeeper. We have in the club already. In the case of Lindelof, he's leaving on a free anyway, mate. And then the 2 players I was talking about, sell this player, sell that player. It's not the case, Andy, I'm afraid, mate. It's just a case of Manchester United right now have to pick a first 11 and then work on the squad around it. And if there are squad players that don't like not being in that first 11 right now, you need to sell them. And trust me, when it comes to that, when it comes to the likes of Garnacho, 50 grand a week wages, Mainu, 20 grand a week wages, Dalot, 65 grand a week wages, you think them wages are high? No, they're not, mate. And they're easily sellable. That's why they're on the list. Manchester United are at the back end of getting rid of the overpaid players right now. We know this. Anthony will leave. Rashford will leave. Maguire's nearly gone. Casemiro is nearly gone. We're dealing with a Sancho situation. That is there and a fucking thorn in our side. I know that. But look at it. It is realistic. It really is. Atro, no, 100%. Adam, Onana needs to be moved on. Also, I think Leacher as well. No hate to either, but looking since their arrivals, they have either underperformed or been injured too often. It's a point a lot of people would pick up on. Lissandro missing a full season so far since he's been at Manchester United. We should sign Angry Ginge in goal. Adam, he likes to play at centre-back now, mate. Morgan likes to play at centre-back. That's his position. Great header of the ball. I love the way he tackles as well. Very aggressive. We could do with a bit of that. If there was anyone I would reckon I would sort of marry Andrew Ginge to in terms of a Man United player right now, Matthias de Ligt. That's Angry Ginge. That's the type of player he is. I would say that was the most likely what he is. Dalot of last season, I would have been disappointed to lose him. This season, on our on one of our worst players on a consistent basis. A lot of people would agree with that. Richard says, get Fernandes. We did talk about that earlier on today. Did anyone else feel on Thursday that we have the nucleus of a team with Ruben Amorim playing players correctly? Yeah, Babs, I think we all felt that positive vibe and the great outlook for the future for Manchester United under Ruben on Thursday. Bigger fish to fry, like we all know, and tougher games to come, but still, you look at it, we did see a lot more positive signs, and we've got a very, very young team being built there together. Laptop says, Dalot is a good squad player, not a first-team starter, and that goes for most of the first team. It's my point proven right there. I hope Amorim gives Chido Obi a decent amount of time tomorrow. We will see on that one. Interesting call that he needs to make. Would you start Aiden Heaven tomorrow, or would you rest him? Talk to me in the chat. Would you go again with Heaven? That's an interesting one that a lot of people are talking about right now. Obviously, we'll get into the game and that side of it a little bit more later on in the tomorrow, but you've still got to look at this and say, does he need to be looked after? A few games in, a few out. A lot of managers do this with a lot of players these days. They look after the younger players, and there's something that United haven't done, especially not with the likes of Mainu, Garnacho. We really don't look after our younger players, and I think we've got the right man in place right now in Ruben Amorim to look after our younger players. He hasn't given them too much. Like he said in his press conference, if Aiden plays the way he did against Sociedad, he's going to start more games. Fair enough. But he's still a manager, I think, that will take time out and look at everything and make sure that these players don't get ahead of themselves. Make sure that they rest properly, recover properly. We have got a squad there for a reason, and an 18-year-old should not be just thrust straight in and expected to do things. He needs to be brought in gradually. I don't want Aidan Heaven to just play every single game, as much as I love it, and the fact we've got a quality player coming through there. I think this is the type of signing that United have made here, where they can take their time and they can make sure that he is looked after properly, because he's got the qualities. We know that. We've seen it. But he can go into burnout. He can get ahead of himself. Ruben, I think, is different to Ten Hag on that side of things. And I don't think we're going to see loads of Chidowabi time. I don't think we're going to see loads of Aidan Heaven time. We're going to see them play, but I don't think it's going to be to the extent that a lot of fans are wanting or hoping or thinking we're going to see. It is a case of they come in when necessary, or when we really do need to change things up or a player is knackered. Rasmus will still play more games. So will Xerxes and Garnacho ahead of Chido. He doesn't just walk straight into this side. The problem you've got is he's balancing him out and making sure he keeps on playing. And if he keeps on playing in the under-18s, that's probably better for him on the under-21s, because if he's just on the bench every single week and he's not getting game time, it's really affecting his progression through. So I wouldn't be busting a gut to give Chido loads and loads of game time. I want to see him play, but I'm talking maybe 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, making sure that he's getting the right amount of game time. I think Ruben will make a call soon enough now that Mason Mount is back, where Chido goes back to the under-21s. I know a lot of people won't like the sound of that, but that's coaching, that's management, and I think that will be what happens. We have got a poll running right now. Get involved in it in the chat, everyone. Would you start Aidan Heaven tomorrow? 94% of you have said yes. Off the back of Sociedad, I can understand why. Sean says, 5 new signings, a striker, number 10 and number 6, centre-half, keeper, promote wing-backs from the youth, Mantato, Kamasan, plus use Fletcher's, Kakonke, Scanlon, Obe, Kone, Bayankeri, Thwaites. I'd be over the moon. There's more players in there as well, in that academy that you could possibly look and throw into that. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you answering my post. I also want to see these players going. Best wishes. Nice one, Andy. Love comments like that. Matt says, Xerxes, a solid 7 out of 10 for me over recent performances. Still a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde for me in games. When he is good, he is really good. But when he is bad, he is really bad. I think you pretty much summed up Xerxes well there. Definitely, Matt. I understand it takes time, but so many of this squad aren't going to win us big prizes. Dalot, Onana, Rasmus, ruthlessness needed. Exactly why I made the point at the top of the show. Over 150 likes in. Thank you. Let's get that up over 200, everybody. That will be the 3rd live stream today that we've got over 200 live likes in, which is epic. I love that. Keep them flooding in, people. Onana hasn't improved. He is error prone. He won't change. Stop putting yourself through this. Through what? I don't know if you're talking to me or might be someone else in there. I've just said he needs to be dropped. I don't want him in the team, so I don't know what I'm putting myself through. I just want him out. I want to start building with a new keeper. Mount will be fit for about 2 weeks tops. There is no future for him at United. We want him fit, maybe to make a decision. Keep him fit for the rest of this season. Maybe someone will come in and loan him in the summer. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get any money for Mason Mount this summer anyway, but if you can get a loan for him and bring someone else in, a decision needs to be made on Mount. It's going to be a difficult one in the summer. It really is. I just don't see what Manchester United do with him. They cannot rely on his fitness. And you cannot just have a player there on that amount of money being used sparingly. And I'm saying that simply because of who is actually in situ now at the club, as in Ineos and the structure that's there. They will look at that and say, no, make a decision. We cannot have $250,000 being used sparingly for 20 or 30 minutes here and there. Ruben Amorim said 5 minutes of Mason Mount will be perfect. Yeah, no, Ruben. No. We need more than that. I know he meant it for the Leicester game. I know he meant it in just getting him on the pitch again at any cost right now. Like just giving him a little bit of something. We can move forward from there. But I don't expect to see Mount against Leicester. I don't think we need to rush him back. I think we've got enough there. If Mason Mount can come on in a comfortable enough situation to get a few minutes, fine. But I don't see the point. I don't see the point in bringing him in now. I really don't. Where is the Europa Cup final being held? Just asking. It's Bilbao, Babs. Funnily enough, the team that we could face in the semi-final are the hosts. Can you imagine if Bilbao got to the final? United are probably the one team that could stop them getting there, to be honest. But, yeah, you'd be buzzing with that, wouldn't you? The hosts actually getting to the final. When has that ever happened? Has that happened at any point? It has, hasn't it? Someone will tell me. Go on, guys, get into the books on that one. The last European final of any European trophy where the hosts were actually playing in the final. As in, the team in the final were playing in their own stadium. What was it? Did Chelsea beat Bayern Munich at the Allianz? Was that Chelsea's? The Drogba, the penalties. Was that against Bayern? I cannot remember. God, was that? Who did Chelsea play in that? It was Bayern, wasn't it? I'm sure they were in Munich for that game. It was Bayern Munich, wasn't it? It must have been. Yeah, it's just a question out there. Some statos will be. It was Bayern versus Chelsea. I thought it was. Yes. Adam, who do you think are favourites for Europa? United. Probably Spurs. Honestly, my biggest fear, and I'm going to keep on saying it, I think Bilbao will beat us. Everyone was going on about Sociedad being the last team to beat Manchester United in the Europa League. You know who the team before that was, don't you? And it was under Sir Alex Ferguson. The last team to beat United at home in the Europa League was Bilbao. Yes. They absolutely smashed us to pieces. They were absolutely fantastic. United were on the come down from dropping out the Champions League back then, but yeah, they were the last team to beat us at home in the Europa League. But yeah, they're a threat. Bilbao, I think, should be favourites for this competition. I think they are a very, very good team. Was it at Wembley or was that Champions League? No, it wasn't Welshman. That was United against Barcelona, but that was at Wembley and we weren't in our home stadium. It was Bayern Munich Chelsea, wasn't it? That was the last time it happened. United Spurs final. Adam, come on. Oh, that will be fun and games, won't it? Spurs United final. God, both teams literally clinging on. Season-defining game. That would be big. It would be massive. Absolutely huge. Let's see. Bilbao are bookies' favourites. United are second. All right, there you go. I've not even looked at it. I would just go off the teams. I don't know who the actual official favourites are, but if the bookies are saying Bilbao, I would go with that anyway. Definitely if they get to the final. You've got to fancy the host playing in there, being in the final. So, yes. We drew against Arsenal. So, how can Paul say a back-to-back Premier League wins? Have we put a poll up saying back-to-back? Can United get their first back-to-back Premier League win tomorrow? Sorry about that. That one was a mistake. United drew with Arsenal. It felt like a win because we should have won it. But, yeah, even the people answering that poll, 84% of you said yes. 84% of you are wrong. No, I'm joking. Yeah, a lot of mistakes happen. Sorry about that, everybody. We will... I will address that one, I'm afraid. But, yes. Look, can we get back-to-back positive results in the Premier League? I think is more to the point, because that was a very, very positive result against Arsenal. And tomorrow, if we back it up and we back up what happened in Europe with a win against Leicester, what a week. Best week of the season by a mile. This is what this week will be. You've all seen that lad who is not cutting his hair until Manchester United win 5 games in a row. Well, you've got to look at it and say, what, Sociedad, Leicester? I don't think he's got a chance. I honestly don't. Sorry, just checking something out now. Right. let's get in again. There is other news on Garnacho as well, everybody, regarding Atletico Madrid coming in for him. Athletic have always been admirers since letting him go from their academy to Manchester United. I think it was 375,000 we paid for Garnacho, I think, at the time. But apparently Manchester United are still open for selling Garnacho this summer. And 70 million is the price. Look, 70 million? Yeah, if someone comes in and pays that, you sell him all day long. No problem at all with that one. Same with Garnacho. Honestly, if someone wants to come in and give us 140 million for them two players, then yeah, go for it. Absolutely go for it. I've got no problem with that at all. It's the right money, and let's be honest, are they ever going to get to a different level where they're going to be worth more than that? That's just the summer again in what we're talking about. Obviously, we're hearing today as well that Real Madrid are now interested from Spanish sources in Kobbie Mainoo as well. I was asking a question when the whole Kobbie Mainoo contract situation came out. Where would he go? Like, if he wants to go abroad, who's going to take him? Can he fit in at Bayern? I don't think so. I don't think they would go for him. Kimmich now looks like he's going to sign a new deal there as well. So, yeah, I don't see him fitting into Barcelona. I don't think they've got the money anyway. And I don't think he would go to Real Madrid. But now we're hearing that Real Madrid are interested in Kobbie. I had him down as like someone like Chelsea, to be honest. I thought they're the team that's going to come in. There are reports that they are going to up their bid and still strengthen their position with Kobbie Mainoo and possibly bring him in. I'll try and attempt to bring him in the summer. We will see, won't we? We will see. Let's get a few more comments in from you lot. Onana is useless, not even first choice for his country, getting far away from United, says Punch. Mount will be kept for a third year. Save yourselves the fruitless debate. Don't think we are, Graham. We talked about loaning him out. Nobody said that he's going to be gone. But look, situation is Manchester United need to make a decision. Do we want to rely on Mason Mount being a part of this squad with the injury record that he's got? Or can we loan him out and bring somebody else in, take his wages off the book? That's what we've got to look at right now. Will he be useful for Manchester United next season? We can keep him for a third year, but we don't necessarily need him in the squad. He could go out and loan somewhere else. That's how I see Mason Mount's situation evolving. We cannot afford to sell him yet because we will lose money with PSR. It's only his second year. And the third year down, we will be able to probably sell him cheaper. Because let's be honest, I think we need to make about 38 million. Something like that. I think it was 33 or 38 million just to break even on Mason Mount. No one's spending that money on Mason Mount this summer. He won't be sold this summer. 100% he won't be sold. He could be loaned out though. Because he could gather value while he's loaned out. And it's another year off his contract. And he is covered if United do save that wage. Then they will be able to sell him a bit cheaper the season after, with only 2 years left on his deal. That's what I think United's plan would be with Mason Mount. But again, I do agree with Graham on that one. I cannot see Mason Mount going anywhere this summer. Not on a permanent deal anyway. A loan is definitely open. 100%. I hope we don't sell Mainoo, but Garnacho can't go. Does that mean can go? I think that's what you meant. Real Sociedad beat United at home in the Europa League when the Queen died, Adam. Graham, you missed the question, mate. I was saying everyone was going on about Sociedad being the last team to beat us. I remember it. I was at the game. But past that, it was Bilbao. Two Spanish sides. That was the point. That was the conversation. You might have just missed it, Graham, mate, on that side of it. Kobbie, not worth 200 grand a month. Mount is a busted flush on 250k a week. Sell the bluffer. Not yet. Maybe another year on. With the intensity of the Premier League, do you think Mount can be more injury-free in Italy? Juve seem to be looking for a midfielder. Look, loan him. Loan him to Spain. Loan him to Italy, France, wherever it may be. Less intensity. Let's just get game time in Mason Mount's legs elsewhere. He's not going to feature for United enough. We can't rely on him. Look, I would love Mason Mount to be fit for a full season, but let's be real with ourselves here, and let's be honest. Do you see him seeing out a full season in the Premier League? Because that's what it's going to take for someone on them wages to actually be worth it for Manchester United. I don't see it, and that sadly, is what we have to put up with. That's what we've got to look at and say is the reality right now. And I think United will be looking at it the same way. Garnacho, massive money for United that we won't be able to turn down. Literally, the whole summer could be financed by Garnacho being sold. And I don't like, David Ornstein said, Manchester United are looking and he expects to be many signings for Manchester United coming in. I reckon them signings are all going to be in the low bracket market, as in cheaper players, personally. But Garnacho can fund a lot of that. He really can. Absolutely smashed it, guys. We are over 200 live likes again, third time today. You epic bunch of people. You're absolutely amazing. Conversation has flowed very well in the chat today, I've noticed as well, everyone. Well done to you all. Hi, Adam. It's never good to lose money on any player, but I would take an exception on Onana. He's quite simply nowhere near good enough. We cannot have this guy in our goal next season. Look, Onana will be here at United next season. My opinion, that's what I think, for the same reasons that I've just said for Mason Mount. We spent 45 million on him, and we've got another few years left on his contracts. I think he will be, hopefully, second fiddle. I think he's a number 2 goalkeeper, Andre Onana, at best, at a top club. And unless he wants to drop and go down to another club, I just don't see him ever playing at the top level. No one will ask any club. If he was on the market, who would buy him? Give me a top 5 club in any top division in Europe that would buy Andre Onana right now. And United have got him in their team. That's where he belongs. He has contributed to United being bottom half of the Premier League. He's a mid-table team goalkeeper at best. I think he's up there with one of the worst goalkeepers in the Premier League right now. I think every other starting goalkeeper for every other Premier League team would give United a better chance than Onana in goal for us. Sounds incredibly harsh, doesn't it? I know what I'm saying. I know it sounds horrible, but it's the truth. I think the goalkeepers are better at every other football club in the Premier League than Andre Onana. Bottom team in the league, well, you know who they've got in goal, don't you? And do you know what? I would take him. I would take him in a heartbeat over Andre Onana. Every single one of them is better than him and more reliable, I feel. And no one has made the mistakes that he has made this season. Gifted membership from Andy. Thank you, mate. That's gone to Slim Jim. Typical. I had to go to a gym today, didn't it? Mount and Shaw should be made to cut their hair until they complete 5 games in a row. Yeah, make them take the bet on. I think Mason Mount is in the middle of that, actually. He's looking quite long, he's there at the moment. A local journal who knows a lot about Leicester said in Jan, along with Chelsea, that Manchester United are also looking at Hermansen in the summer. Hermansen is a good goalkeeper, and I think someone will pick him up from the Premier League. I won't have a problem. I think he's an alright goalkeeper coming to United. If we can get a goalkeeper on the cheap, I still think they're going to be better than what Onana is. And that's it. Who said I'm only 5'8"? No, lies. Nick Hughes says, I still have Bilbao nightmares. Yeah, they taught us a lesson that night. They really did teach us a lesson, didn't they? VTech will just be as good. Yep, Danny, there you go. Get VTech in. I've said this all along. Manchester United have better goalkeepers in our academy and second to Onana than what our first team goalkeeper is. It is. Opposing teams know Onana's weaknesses, says Babs. They do. Henderson was better than Onana. He was and still is. Delau is going to get offered a new contract. Amorim seems to like him. He better not, Rico, because he won't be starting games. He's not good enough. I think Amorim is realistic enough to look at Dalot and say, no, thank you. You are not good enough, and he hasn't got the time to nurse him through what's necessary. Someone's saying I'm 4'2" now. Yeah, come on. Let's be realistic, people. Let's be realistic. And be realistic in the comment section when this finishes up. We are going to wrap it up there, everyone. So thank you again for all of your comments, your live comments. Please do carry them forward into the into the comment section after the video is finished. Talk to me about them players that need the ruthless touch, that need to be let go. Even if they are showing signs of improvement, we need to let them go. List them players in the comments below for me, everybody, when the video finishes. And I'll leave you on that one. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic evening. I'll be back at 8 o'clock in the morning to start the match day build-up. It is a big, big day. By the way, tomorrow, 8 o'clock. And then we've got the paper round on Football Talks. Please do subscribe to that as well. We've got that. We've also got the warm-up. And we're going, and then I'm off to Lim for Kaz's game. Winton Wanderers ladies. We are off to Lim. Big crunch top of the table clash. So wish us luck with that. Then we get back. Then we got the build up to the game again. We've got the game. I will let you all know tomorrow in the shows, early doors, what I'm doing, watch along wise for that one as well. Big day for Manchester United. Hopefully we can get that win that we really need. And yeah, looking at that. Busy all day, definitely a massive day, but that is us done. Thank you, everybody. I will see you all in the morning. Have a fantastic evening. Have a little drink on me, and we go again.